Love isn't love till you give it away. You've got to give it away. When I was maybe 5 or 6, every Sunday after Mass, we would go across the street from Fortunate Helpers. There's a little storefront called, it was called Buttle's Delicatessen. And Buttle is a man from Yugoslavia. I never met him. It was his brother Jake who ran the store by the time I came into the world. Jake's English wasn't so good. He was not from here. But he would always give my brother and myself a piece of candy after Mass. And then one day, my parents drove Jake to the airport because Jake had been in a concentration camp in Yugoslavia where the treat for Easter was that they would get rotten horse meat because normally they didn't get any meat at all. So Jake had managed somehow to escape from Yugoslavia and ended up in West Senegal. But he had left behind his only child, his son. So years later, after he had been here decades, when I was 5 or 6 years old, my parents drove Jake to the airport because Jake's son was going to come finally to see his father. And they described that reunion of an old man and a 40 or so year old son seeing each other for the first time in 40 years. By that point, Jake's son had a son of his own. I think his name may have been Ivan. Ivan and I were about the same age, but Ivan came from pretty destitute circumstances. And in light of this reading from the Acts of the Apostles, about the sharing in the early church, I still remember, so I spoke no Yugoslavian, Ivan spoke no English, but we would play with our little matchbox cars